Okay, hi everyone. This is the first video I'm going to do in a series where I'll be describing my process as a composer when I'm writing music for screen, music for documentaries and films and adverts. And the first piece I'm going to do here is called Heady Brew. It's the end title piece that goes over the end credits of Scotland's Game, which was the history of Scottish football documentary series that the BBC made. It covers 1970 till about the early 2000s in terms of Scottish football history. So it's a very dark tale, as you can well imagine. It's turgid and complex and turbulent and violent and all those things. So musically, where does that leave you? How do you want to describe that musically is the question. And the first thing I came to, the first thoughts that I had were just simply fast and dark. That's what I wanted, just very basically. The first out of the blocks, you think, fundamentally, what do you want it to be? Fast and dark. Football's a fast game. It's a fast-moving, up-tempo thing, and so is the business and the politics that surround it. And so that's what I was trying to achieve. And I started out with the idea of this piano ostinato that goes something like this. I like the kind of frenetic and frantic staccato feel of that. It feels, it definitely feels like there's something rotten in the state of Denmark when you hear that. It's a bit murder mystery. And over the top, I've gone for this kind of delayed organ, minimalist, kind of very chirpy and chanty organ line. Organ, not immediately something you would associate instrumentally with football, but it's certainly something you'd associate with religion. And obviously religion and football goes very, very much hand in hand in Scotland, and probably most places. So over the top of the piano line is this organ line, and it goes like this. And together, the piano and the organ sound like this. So there's a definite richness there, there's a complexity, and I did like that, feel that seemed to speak to me in terms of what this series was about, so I was quite happy with that as a starting point. Let's hear the piece from the start, the very start, which includes this sort of scrunching, droney sound design motif that starts the whole thing off. Then you've got percussion, you've got some strings and a few other elements, and it all sounds like this. Kind of like a semitone glissando on the strings, just more menace, and then up a tone basically is what's happening now, adding more elements in. You're in D minor. You were in C minor to start with, so you've gone up to D. It's a crescendo. We're coming into something else now. It's A major. It's a kind of middle part. It's a bit of respite. It's a bit of contrast. It feels more hopeful, but still the harmony is unstable. It's going to go somewhere. And you're back to the original theme, but it's in F minor now, so we've moved again. Another glissando, another sound design, scrunch, rallentando, and you're out. That's it. So yeah, I mean, it's 15 to 45 seconds you've got generally with a TV theme. You don't have long. You've got to really make it count. And obviously, you're in very lofty company when you write a piece for the BBC. There's a long history of great theme tunes, so you want to impress. You're a composer. You want your next job. You want people to think you know what you're doing. That is part of the bargain, obviously, vain as it might sound. But obviously, the piece has to grow from the narrative, from the themes of the screen film that you're writing it for. So it has to be organic. It has to feel like there's some kind of conflation of ideas between the on-screen action and what you're doing musically. And so I tried to do that with Heady Brew. I called it Heady Brew because that was, to me, a phrase that quite well described the socio-political kind of stories they were telling that underpin the history of Scottish football. And that was my piece. It's about 45 seconds long, and we'll listen to it now in its entirety, and I'll just keep quiet this time. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that analysis, and please check out the series. It's called Scotland's Game. It's really interesting, even if you're not interested in football, I have to say. All the best, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.